Undistinct! Undistinct!
This summer, if you're planning to go camping, don't.
What's up, Staunch gang? Welcome back to Staunch WEEN. I'm working through your recommendations as we speak. Leave me one below, why don't you? And luckily for me, I'm doing this and you guys are responding, because finally I could say I just watched The Burning.
The Burning.
Now, I had a great time with this flick. I don't know why I never watched it before. It's always been a movie I've known about, you know what I mean? I think there's a lot of pretty big flaws with it at the same time, you know, from just one viewing. That's the thing about watching these movies years later. It's like you kind of get a fresh perspective, and it's nothing that's really too important to me or anything. And I do wish I saw this earlier though, because I do think that this is like the perfect Friday the 13th movie, at least, you know, back when, because at this point there had only been the original, and I'm not a big fan of that Friday the 13th, the original. I think it's just a real movie. Like, I much prefer the sequels and whatnot. So this one has that feel, and it's kind of like your typical, you know, summer camp movie. Your kids, you know, they go out and do their thing, you know, where there's a lot of sex and whatnot. It has the classic setup, you know, like from Terror Train, Prom Night, that kind of thing, where there's something, you know, that someone's done wrong, and you know, they kind of get their comeuppance later, only not without the twist. There's no Miss Voorhees here, you know what I'm saying? Here it is a straight up, like, you fucked with me, now I'm coming back to fuck with you, you know. And I do love that aspect, and they kind of take it to a different level, because there's an isolation element, because this is kind of based around a canoe trip that they take later in the movie, and that's where all the major action happens. So you get a lot happening here, and we'll get to it a little later. First off, I mean, I was very impressed here. We get debuts of a lot of people, a lot of major actors, a lot of Academy Award winners, nominees and whatnot. Just to name a few, we got Holly Hunter, we got George Costanza, and we got the mighty Fisher Stevens. And this is also like early on in Harvey Weinstein's career. Apparently, he was trying to get in the film business, and his first thought was, you know, to take the Sean S. Cunningham route and just rip off something that was already popular. So he was really in a big race to get this out before Friday Part 2, and I don't remember if they did or not, but I think, you know, it could have given him a run for the money if they had any sort of clout in the business at that point. But it was Harvey Weinstein that decided to go the Cropsey route and have something that he remembered from his campfire days, you know what I mean? It was Harvey Weinstein around the campfire, and apparently he remembered that story. It affected him a lot, and Harvey Weinstein just really did what he could. He ran with it, you know what I'm saying, for his first kind of feature. And he even, you know, he broke the script and whatnot. I was surprised to learn that too. And you can't really say that it's like a Friday ripoff, although it does feel a lot like it. And he even took Tom Savini, who famously worked on the original, and he turned down Friday Part 2 to work on this flick. Tom Savini also, of course, based the Cropsey makeup on Harvey Weinstein himself. Just kidding. And the film does have like some weird pacing and a lot of like kind of out of place sex stuff, you know. I don't know if this would later kind of like be Harvey Weinstein's thing. He kind of pushed weird elements like on other directors and other writers. Here he's just kind of being himself. I don't know. And luckily he had another pre-heavy hitter in Brad Gray to help him out, because Weinstein himself, I mean, this isn't exactly, you know, David the Gnome or whatever. So luckily there was like a pretty decent team here to go with the production, but again, it was rushed. They're trying to beat Friday Part 2, and it all just kind of shows on screen. All in all though, it's a fun slasher. It makes you kind of wait for the moments, for the what the fuck moments, you know, and in between that does a decent job with the suspense. It really does. There's some cool like kind of creepy stuff, and you know, there's also, you know, for it being kind of like a dull story and a dull plot line, something we've seen a million times before, it does kind of go places that a lot of these movies don't. But it really is the shocking moments of violence that make this an instant classic. I mean, I just watched the film for the first time, and I already knew about this famous scene. Yeah, I forget, some of the effects weren't really on point here. And I'm sure that's due to the, the rushed production, as I stated earlier, and the low budget. Tom Savini himself stated that, he wasn't satisfied with the final makeup, and he only had a few days to get it finalized and whatnot. And when you're watching the movie, the film, it does kind of rush to its conclusion. I swear, this movie just kind of ends out of nowhere. At least it feels like it does. But for all that being said, I do recommend it, and I'd even say it makes a fun double feature with surprise, surprise, Friday the 13th Part 2. But yeah, and this film has one hell of a score. I mean, they really knocked it out of the park here, man. Jesus. Again, you guys recommended that I watch this flick, and I'm glad you did. You guys are crazy. You guys are crazy. Did I ever tell you that? So let me know down below what other movie I should check out. I have all month long to be watching these flicks and giving my thoughts, and I'm going to be giving you guys some recommendations and stuff that I think maybe you haven't seen, so stick around for that, as I have my top 5 underrated creepy films for Halloween coming up, along with all kinds of other stuff. I might be doing a live stream soon. Be sure to follow me on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. And happy Staunch WEEN, everybody. Stay tuned.